House.
What's up?
Bringing you the Outlaw Blitz podcast. Let's get dangerous.
I'm ready.
You ready?
Yeah.
Well, this is a little different than, dropping the hammer, but
Yeah, it is.
we'll get it figured out.
I'm excited. When I heard your last episode, not going to lie, I sat there and I was like, it was great. By the way, it was great.
The hard part about that was I had no talking points.
Right.
I'm expecting to have somebody there, and then I sat down and I'm like, oh man, I'm just emptying my brain out with nothing written down.
Right.
So that part was hard, but after hearing it back a little bit of it when it aired,
mm-hmm.
and then people coming up to me, they were like, "Yo, that was a lot better than you gave yourself credit for." I'm like, I didn't know, I just had nothing.
Right.
So I tried to just kind of get myself through it.
Listening to it, I was like, Jim Rome, when you were down in Tennessee, used to listen to a lot of Jim Rome, and I'm like, dude, this guy just rambles on and on and on and on. You say, well, when you're by yourself, you got to make a point.
Yeah.
And listening to that, it kind of reminded me of Jim Rome, kind of reminded me of SVP on Sports Center late at night. It was definitely different.
I'm literally just looking at, and I had the camera right here, and I'm just looking at a red light going,
Talk to me, Goose. Talk to me.
Something. Give me something here. But, it gave me a chance to kind of just download my brain a little bit.
Yeah.
Stuff I wouldn't normally talk about on a show because I don't want to, I don't know. We had a very strict rule, Highland and I, about not talking about, a politics or this or that.
Right.
And I didn't really address it, but I addressed it.
Yeah.
And then, that song coming in today, that thing just hit home when I listened to that song for the first time. I'm like, you know what? People are getting tired. People really are getting tired right now. And it's like, they're just sick of it. They're like, we're tired of this. You're putting your eggs in the wrong basket. You don't care about the people that are carrying this country right now.
Exactly.
The people that work.
Right.
So it's I don't know. So I kind of steer away from that, but it is what it is. But I thank you for saying it was decent.
Yeah, no problem.
You don't have to lie to me.
I would not lie to you. You know that.
So what's been going on otherwise?
So past couple weeks, I've been busy, with the kids. We went to Accord, you knew about.
Yeah.
Been doing a lot of Zoom flume.
Oh, nice. Well, it's pretty close to you.
Yeah, it's 15 minutes down the road. We went there today for 2 hours. It's nice to just get out.
The backtrack to Accord for a second.
Yep.
That place could be a gold mine, and all he does is step in his own fucking way every single time.
I agree. After watching that show, I was like, you're kidding me.
Yeah, I watched Friday night. I tried to watch Friday night. I had to work overnight, so I tried to watch.
Yep.
So then the next day when I got out of work, I went back and I put on the cushion. 6:30, the broadcast started.
Yep.
It was 6 hours and 30 minutes. That means 1 o'clock in the morning, the show finally got over.
Yeah.
What are you doing, bro? What are you doing there? I'm the biggest cheering, supportive person. Come on, what's going on here? You know what I mean? Right. I want him to do well. But it's you had kids. You left way early.
Yeah.
How many people in those stands would care if he had the whole show done in 2 hours? If you started at 7 and everybody was out, the modified feature was on the track at 9 p.m.,
mm-hmm.
people would love it. Absolutely. You're home at a decent hour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I get it's a socializing thing, but who goes to a movie and then sits through intermission and intermission and intermission and intermission? And that's the part that kills me with that guy.
Oh, no, I know. And,
how about water the fucking track? Not after you get there.
Right.
Water it way before.
That was the big problem when I went that day. It was so fucking dry there. So dry.
And they never did. Well, it rained during the week. So what? So what?
It hasn't really rained much of lately.
Yeah.
It rained.
Well, there.
Right. It rained a lot leading up to that.
It poured 3 days leading right up to that. And they're like, well, we don't need it. And the track was dry. Then they go, oh, the sun's on it. I don't want to hear that.
I
don't want to hear that.
Dirt track.
I
still to this day do not understand why it is the dirtiest track I go to.
Well, probably. So where I'll defend him in one aspect. A, it's smaller. Okay. So you're getting a lot more sideways stuff.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But the modifieds right now with the left side pan hard bar and the 4 coils, they're so dialed in. They almost have too much grip.
Yeah.
So they're tearing these tracks up. And you had people like a year ago were saying like, oh hey, just you make your track better. And now like those same people that were like, you need to make your track better, their tracks are shitty.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're starting to be like, well, I don't know, maybe they do have too much grip with the left side panhard bars, and they're tearing it up, So I don't know, but I rather have a track that's tacky than ever watch tracks that are slicked over.
I agree with that.
Like you watch them guys that run up north and it's all black, slicked over, shiny.
Yeah.
I can't stand that. They're like, I came here. You have 800 horsepower.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see horsepower. I don't want to see you out there, not breaking an egg at quarter throttle.
Right.
I don't want to see that sliding all around.
Yeah.
Like I want to see racing.
Right.
But anyway, we're not talking about racing. That was one of those things. Like you're one of the only people that can relate to that I talk to.
Exactly.
That would understand it. So.
Yeah, it was the cool thing was they had the vintage modifieds out there.
Yeah.
And I love watching the vintage modifieds because there's all different styles of them.
Yeah.
You see the old ones, you see the ones that were like the 70s and 80s, and then the ones before you come into the Sportsman.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good night.
It was cool.
Went
and then
Benny's.
Yeah, of course. You got to stop at Benny's on the way. Now, at Zoom Flume, has anything really changed there?
Yeah and no.
There's still original Zoom Flumes there, right?
Yeah.
Love that ride.
So they have this new ride. It's called the Rip Van Racer, which
Okay.
is you go through tubes and there's like cutouts to where like you can see where you're racing the person.
Yeah.
The only thing I do like about it, I mean not the only thing, but they have these pads that you lay on, and they have your hands, and it wraps up around your hand. So you go down on that. So I went on the Zoom Flume, and they still use them fucking
the mats.
Yeah, the piece of shit.
I love those mats.
Right, they're a little worked,
Yeah.
They've been used. But I told the kid, I was like, you guys should bring those pads down from Rip Van Racer, and he was like, this is the oldest ride we got. No shit. That's why it's called the Zoom Flume. But I was like, it would make the ride a little bit better. Because I went around Zoom Flume, I hit that fucking wall with my elbow. I was like,
it scrapes you, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this just came to my brain. You witnessed one of the greatest.
It's on my list.
For what? For what? Just to talk about?
Oh yeah.
Or, this is the part where we would talk about.
This is it.
So many years ago, I come home from the Army and we go to Zoom Flume with your dad and your brother.
Yes.
And you go with me on the tube. Now I'm a lot lighter back then.
Yes.
I'm probably like 180 pounds, solid fucking muscle.
Yep.
And we come flying down that thing. And you go past the area where you would get out. They kind of have.
It was like a pool.
So it would slow you down, and then it would go carpet, and then there would be tires and a little fence.
Right.
Well, that pool would slow everybody down. So we get down the bottom, and we get out, and we look back, and it's your dad and your brother. And your brother's a chubby kid, and your dad's a big dude at the time.
I was figuring it out on the ride over here. I was like, they had to be close to 600 pounds combined.
Yeah, completely. So I remember looking up the hill, and I go to you, well, this should be fun. And you're like, why is that? I said, watch. And we look, and it looked like Clark W. Griswold setting a new national water speed record. They came down, and if this camera is straight, like you're watching them down, and this is where you should stop, they went by us like that. They skipped over the water, bounced off the freaking carpet, and blew the tires and fence right off and out
It popped the tube.
It popped the tube. Yeah, it was bang, and right through the fence.
So I go there with Chase, and even Layla went down on this, which was awesome. I didn't realize you could be that small going down on it. So I'm busting out laughing, and Chase is like, what's so funny? I said, Papa, back in the day, went down this, and now so they have you've been down in Florida where right before you get to the stop sign they have those
rumble strip.
Yeah, to let you know.
Yeah.
So they have that now, and it's kind of the same as the slide going all the way up.
Yep.
So I was explaining to him, I was like, there used to be just the pool. There wasn't that rumble strip to slow you down, and it was AstroTurf.
Yeah. It was just
a tire and a fence,
and it wasn't even really AstroTurf. It was like that deck carpet. Yeah.
Yeah. So they came down and I'll never forget that. And I said to him, I was like, we looked at each other like, oh, this is not going to be good.
They flew by us. bang, and then threw the tires in the fence.
Yeah. I told my dad, because he was up this summer, I said, you're the reason why they put a weight limit on that ride now. Because I don't think you can go, you got to be like combined like 400 pounds.
Oh, yeah?
So it's fun, but you don't do it like what we used to do.
No.
But yeah, it's what I like about Zoom Flume, it's reasonably priced.
Yeah.
Like I got the season passes for the kids, and I know you used to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for what I paid, I've been to Zoom Flume like 15 times already.
Well, yeah, especially with how close you are.
Right.
It makes sense.
And
if you don't have a pool at your house, which you don't,
no,
then when you got a nice hot summer, you can go there and they can enjoy themselves.
Exactly.
I would be a little worried of them in the wave pool.
Oh, dude, Chase, it was bad.
Yeah.
He was in the wave pool, and there was a group of like teenage kids, and I'm like, just stay away, because they get a little rowdy.
Mm-hmm.
And he was fine, but he went underneath to like dip under a wave, and then he came back up, and a wave hit him right in the face, and like he went up, and pulled him up out of the water. I was like, this is why we got to take our time.
Yeah,
but he loves it.
Good.
He's all into it.
He's a water rat,
big time,
just like you were when you were kid. Yeah,
big time.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And Layla does good with the water.
She's getting better.
Yeah,
she's getting a lot better. Like today, she was in the water.
She's a terror. That kid.
Oh man,
she's an absolute terror. And she kicks the shit out of her brother, which is not fair to him.
No, no. But when she's had enough, I can tell she's had enough.
Oh yeah, I'm done. Oh, yep, you are done. That's cool, man. I'm glad you had that going on. And summer's almost over here.
I know.
But the good part of the summer, I mean, summer being over always sucks. But the good part is structure and schedule comes back.
Right.
Like when school's in, the world runs better.
Oh yeah, I've noticed that. Like you guys have mentioned on podcasts a couple times, like once September comes, you got like the school bus, like you got to leave 10 minutes early and all that, which I understand. But it's just like the structure, the constant.
It's like rhythm. It's like rhythm comes back.
It's like, oh my god, like I'm getting to that point now in summer. Like I just want it to be September because I want that.
Well, that's what I've always said. August is the Sunday of summer. You're just waiting for it to be over because then your week starts. Then it's back to normal.
Yep.
And as much as you dread it, you're always just waiting. Like, oh my god, I got 2 more weeks until summer's over or whatever. So. Yeah, I get it. But at least you had a nice, fun summer with the kids.
Great.
For the best, for the most part. What else is going on? Anything? What else you got in your talking points over there?
So, I went and saw the Barbie movie that a lot of people shitted on.
Oh, I'll shit on it. No, if you want to, we can talk about it.
It was stupid. It was so fucking stupid. But after seeing it, I was like, it had its funny moments. It was. Like I said to people, like, well, what would be the concept of a doll anyway? Like, what was the concept of the movie?
Well, I thought there was a very good part at the end with the lady that created it and why she created it.
Yes.
But it's a timepiece.
Yes.
Now, you have a daughter. I have 2 daughters. Do you believe or do you feel in your heart of hearts that your daughter couldn't run a company, couldn't be a president of a company, couldn't be the chief of police somewhere? I don't believe any of that. I think my daughters could be anything they want to be.
Correct.
So I think when this lady created that doll in 1960 or whatever, whenever she did it, I think it was more. It would have made sense then.
Correct.
Today, I think they could be anything.
Correct.
And if you think about it, well, that was a woke piece of shit to me. That movie, but anyway, if you think about it, think of how they treated the Midge characters.
I was going to say,
oh Midge. My God, you're pregnant.
Yeah.
Like, what about women that are pregnant? So so this was a feminism movie, but then you shit over you shit on the pregnant one.
Correct. Right.
So needless to say, I went to it against my will. I sat there. I'm watching the movie. I said, I'm going to go to sleep in about 5 minutes. And I did. I think there was like 6 minutes in the movie, and I was snoring, bro. And I guess there was a really sentimental part in the middle of the movie, and I was like... And I'm like, hey, wake up. I'm like, whatever.
It was like, for what it was, yeah. It was stupid. Will Ferrell's in it.
I don't really get him.
Right, and I was going to say, his comedy, you either love it or hate it.
Yeah.
But the ending, with...
with the mother, I like that.
And then I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, the whole thing going through, and being a parent now...
Yeah.
Like, it kind of choked me up a little bit because it's like, hold on to this.
Yeah.
Your daughter's not going to be 3 forever.
Right, and the point was is that my daughter, Barbie, could be anything. She could be a NASA astronaut.
Correct.
Right. And I get it. That was a very good message.
Yeah.
Very good message no matter what, for a mother and a daughter or whatever. But I don't think that girls are being held back from being any of those things.
They're holding themselves back.
I'll say that. I'm just saying, like, you have women in NASCAR now. You have women playing. We have NFL referees that are women, coaches that are women.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think. I think people that want that message and use it as a crutch, they got what they wanted.
Yep.
But I personally, and I'm a man saying this, but I'm a dad saying this. I don't feel my daughters are ever being prevented from being anything they want to be. Right. I think if they want to be it, they'll be it. Period.
No, I agree with that. Especially nowadays. There's so many more opportunities for things.
Yeah. I mean, overall, though, fuck that movie.
No, I agree. It was so stupid, but it's one of those, it's going to be like and I don't want to compare it, but it's going to be like a Napoleon Dynamite 10 years from now where people just quote it or talk about it, this day. And I'm like, if you really watch Napoleon Dynamite, that movie's fucking stupid.
Oh, it's terrible, but it's hilarious. I don't think Barbary was that funny.
No. But we're also talking about this new age.
Yeah. I know.
But yeah, that's basically what I've been doing. Besides that, football season, school year, let's get everything
You're
going.
a Jets fan.
No, like high school football.
Yeah, I know. 9 and 8.
Oh, they're on my list. Don't worry. That's for old.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then let's jump into the first segment then. This week's top 5. The top 5 best underdog moments. I didn't do movies. It could have been anything. Sports, movies, whatever. Your best 5. I'll start off. Number 5. Holly Holm beats Ronda Rousey via head kick.
That was a good moment.
Ronda Rousey's previous 3 fights, I think, went 34 seconds, 16 seconds, and 14 seconds.
Well, yeah, all in the armbar.
All quick, real quick, done. Boom, boom, boom. A lot of people gave Holly Holm no chance. I'd like to say it was an underdog thing for me. I thought she was going to kick the shit out of her. And I called it by head kick, and it was clearly by head kick.
Oh, yeah.
And she dominated the fight before she kicked her in the head.
Yeah, definitely.
It was just one of those moments that, you just remember, oh, my God, Ronda Rousey is going to run through everybody, and then, boom, she didn't.
She was on the McGregor card that night, right?
No. They were the main event in, Australia.
Okay. I couldn't remember if they were, a co-main event where they were on the same card or not.
No,
I remember watching that. I was like,
when she lost the title to Miesha Tate, she was the undercard. She was the co-main event.
Yes.
To McGregor.
That's what it was. I knew one of them.
I think it was maybe McGregor Diaz 2.
Yeah.
I can't remember. It was one of those fights. Yeah.
It was. I think it was 189.
Yeah. Or one of them.
Yeah. So underdog moments for me. This is way before my time. But it's just for what it was for the NFL at the time.
Yeah.
68-69 Jets winning that Super Bowl against the Colts.
I think that was fixed.
It is fixed. I'm a Jets fan.
If you watch some of the people talk about that,
yeah,
they said they needed it to combine the leagues. So how good was Joe Namath really? I'll fuck with you. But
wasn't there to see it.
Somebody did convince me with what they were talking about.
Oh yeah, I've seen that before too.
Like the documentaries about how it's not being done. Yeah.
Like they forced Johnny Unitas not to play until the end of the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah. No, but that was a big underdog moment, and in history, you got Joe Namath running off like that.
Yep.
And if they didn't have that, the NFL might not be what it is today.
No.
Because they knew they were probably losing money, or the game of football was losing traction,
right? And
they needed something to shake it up and bring them all together instead of 2 separate leagues, the AFL and the NFL. No, that was a good one. Number 4, Rocky Balboa versus Apollo Creed.
Greatest underdog story in my eyes.
Well,
Rob's eyes.
Is it on your list?
No. Okay. I didn't go any movies.
Okay, so in all honesty, the first one was the bigger thing. Even though he lost, he kept getting up.
Right.
And that's what made people want another one.
Right.
Like he broke Apollo Creed mentally, where Apollo Creed was breaking him physically.
Yeah. Yeah, because
and that's probably what's the truest. It's before our time. I think that movie came out when I was born, the same year I was born.
Yeah, I want to say
That's really weird. Mike feels like it's dropping out or something. But anyway, I think quite honestly, it probably was the first true underdog movie.
Yeah.
They say it's the greatest underdog movie ever told.
Absolutely.
So underdog moment ever told. So that's why I put it on the list.
No,
What's your number 4?
My number 4, like I said, I stayed with sports. This one I lived and I fucking hate it. The 2004 Red Sox. They were down 3 games to none.
Yep.
And if you watch, there's a documentary on 30 for 30, 4 days in October, I think it's called.
Yep.
And you see Varitek over at first base fielding ground balls. He's like, you don't want to lose to us today because then we got, Schilling going tomorrow.
Yes.
The whole thing.
He actually said it exactly how it happened.
And then, I get goosebumps talking about it.
But they blew huge leads.
Yeah. And then
Yankees should have put a game away in game 6. No, game 5.
Game 5, they should have.
Yeah.
Put
they
away.
had leads, insurmountable leads, but then them guys were taking shots.
Yeah.
And I mean, shots. They were like, fuck it. We're down 3-0. We got nothing to lose. And then once they kind of let it go, then they won.
Yeah. And then when Johnny Damon hit that fucking grand slam, dude, it was like,
that was it. Yeah.
No
you knew it. Yeah.
And for Red Sox fans, for the sports world, it was like, that curse is gone.
Yeah, but fuck that. It killed one of the greatest chants ever.
I know.
1918.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, that's one of those. I was like, man, I don't want to put this on there, but
it was an underdog moment. Even if they were quote unquote could have been the better team,
right?
It was an underdog moment.
Then they went in and swept the Cardinals.
Blew them out.
Yeah. In 4 games.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Fever Pitch was being filmed, so that was all right around that same time.
That was perfect timing.
Number 3, James Buster Douglas knocks out Mike Tyson. Huge moment in sports history.
Yeah, it was.
Tyson, I mean, to be fair, Tyson probably knocked him out the round before. But if you look at the count, I think the clock went 13 seconds and he only got to 9.
Okay.
And then he comes back in the next round and he puts it on Tyson, puts him right on the chin, puts him on his ass. And they're like, Tyson was more worried about his mouthpiece. I'm sure Tyson really didn't want to fight. I think he was bored. It was getting so easy for him at the time.
Yeah.
And a guy just stood there and took it.
I think it was 86, 85, Cuss died.
Oh, yeah, this was 89.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is 89, 90.
Yeah, so somewhere in there.
He's starting to get to that, I don't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah.
That I just want to go out, I'm Mike Tyson, let me go do my thing.
Right.
He lost the
He wasn't trying to protect his legacy at that time.
No.
He was probably a wild man just doing what he does.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's a machine.
Yep. What's your number 3?
Number 3, once again, it wasn't alive for us, so it got bumped down to number 3. It should be number 1 on most people's list, but The Miracle on Ice.
Well, that's my number 2, so we might as well talk about it.
Let's go.
What do you think? It was 24 straight years that Russia hadn't lost?
Yeah. And
it was either 16, 20, or 25. It was somewhere in that range because there were so many years they didn't even lose an international game.
Right.
We were playing with college kids where they were playing with their pro athletes, so to speak. And they didn't belong in that game.
Not at all.
They did not belong in that game.
All.
But, they had a coach that coached them specifically to beat the Russians.
Yeah.
And they trailed in other games. And when the Russians came and scrimmaged them in Madison Square Garden, they blew their doors off 10-1 or something.
Yeah, smoke.
Yeah, so it wasn't even remotely close. But on that day, the Spirit in Lake Placid.
Right. And that wasn't even for the gold medal. That was the gold medal.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's a huge game.
Right. And then they ran it on tape delay on prime time at 8 p.m. at night. But people don't understand. There wasn't internet like it is today.
Right. You didn't know.
So you didn't know. It wasn't hey, they're winning it. Everybody just tuned in.
Right.
And people were going nuts in their house for something that already happened. They didn't even know.
Exactly.
It's pretty wild stuff. Pretty wild stuff. So that was my number 2. What's your number 2?
Now, in my number 2, we're going to go to your house back in 1999. This is kind of what stirred up everything for me. I think it was Sweden just beat the women's U.S. national team.
Yeah.
Back in 1999, we're
on my birthday.
On your birthday,
yep.
all-star birthday party, and Amy Johnson is in the living room, and I remember her glued to the TV, and I was 8 years old, so I'm sitting there and I was like, yeah, whatever, it's soccer.
Yeah.
But because of this moment is when I was like, I love women's soccer. they go and they start doing the penalty kicks.
Yep.
And I remember Amy Johnson come running out and just screaming that they did it.
Yep.
And like I go back inside and the girl's got her shirt off and and I was like, oh my god, it was just like,
what was her last name? Chastain or something like that?
I believe it was.
But that was a powerful moment. She ripped her shirt off, had the sports bra on, and was like, and it
was like cover of a Sports Illustrated, I believe.
And everybody made a big deal about that. She ripped her shirt off. So what?
Celebrate. So
but that was the moment. Like that was one of those huge moments because leading up to that, I don't know if they ever won.
No.
And I remember that it was hot as balls. We had a huge party going on, and everybody was standing in there during penalty kicks. And when they won it, just went crazy.
That's a moment I'll never forget.
Yeah, that's wild. It's funny you brought that up. It didn't make my list because I wasn't thinking that way. But man, that's a really good moment. And number one, and then we'll go to our number ones. My number one, we weren't born. The Revolutionary War. The United States beat the current superpower to get their freedom.
Absolutely.
That's the biggest underdog story there is. A bunch of dirt farmers with sticks kicked the shit out of the number one army in the world.
Yeah, because they kind of like the Red Sox. It's roles reversed here.
Yeah.
We got nothing to fucking lose. They're going to come try taking our shit again. We want to keep this,
Yeah, and that's the spirit that people tend to forget what America's built on.
I agree. 1,000%.
That's it. That's what America's built on, is that resiliency. We're not giving up. We're coming for our shit. And that's why Americans love, that's why it's genetically driven into your DNA is when you're American is you appreciate the underdog because that's where we came from.
Right.
We were the underdogs. We were the outcasts from all these other countries that came here for a shot. Yeah. And then we're still being held under a king's rule only to beat the number one superpower, with a couple of rowboats and some dirt farmers.
Let's sail across the Delaware, baby.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Delaware's only as big as the Mount Marion Creek.
Yeah, it is. My number one, sticking back to sports, Tom Brady being drafted. He's a sixth rounder. He's an underdog.
Or you can elaborate a touch further and win in the Super Bowl versus the Rams. They had no business. That's what I was going to go with. Yeah,
because not Matt Castle. Who the hell was the quarterback?
Drew Bledsoe
just signed that monster deal. And the only reason I know this is because of watching The Man in the Arena.
Yep, that was a great.
It's great
documentary. Yep.
And as I'm getting older, I'm starting to respect things a little more.
Yeah,
appreciate them. And watching that, I was like, damn, dude, I really didn't realize Bledsoe signed that big deal. My team goes out there and causes internal bleeding.
Yeah, good job, Jets.
And then, the rest is...
I think they did that to him on the first game coming out of 9/11.
It was.
And they knocked Bledsoe out on the sideline. Bledsoe almost died.
He almost died.
Yeah. And then, lucky for you Jets fans, Tom Brady comes in, and then the rest, as they say, is history.
Well, that's the thing they were talking about with going into that Super Bowl. Belichick's kind of, do we go with Bledsoe? Do we go with Brady?
Because Bledsoe bailed him out in the Pittsburgh game.
Right. Brady got hurt.
Yeah.
And then he came in and bailed him out, and I'm like, well, you got a contract with this guy.
Right.
He's your,
he's your guy. Yeah.
But Belichick,
and then if you remember, at the end of the game, they're like, oh, they're going to play for overtime. And I don't know if you watch, in the Man in the Arena, they said it. Brady starts to walk out, and they're like, hey, we're just going to, we're going to be easy, look for it. If it's not there, we'll take a knee, we'll go in overtime. And he's walking out, and then Belichick says something to him, and he goes, yeah, fuck it, sling it. and then they went right down, right down the field, kick, and then Vinatieri became the legend that he was because he already put one in when it was snowing, and now,
Which that's a whole another day.
That's one of the most legendary kickers ever.
It is.
He's probably the most legendary kicker ever.
Absolutely.
Truthfully.
Yeah.
He had more kicks that mattered than any other person in the NFL history.
I believe, don't take my word for this, but I believe he's the leading scorer in the NFL.
Probably. He kicked for a very long time.
Yeah. He kicked into his almost 50s.
And pressure kicks, he was like money.
Yeah.
That's what you get paid for, the big pressure kicks.
Absolutely.
That was a decent top five, man. That wasn't bad. That wasn't bad. And it was all over the place. We had sports, we had TV, we had movies, we had all kinds of stuff. All right, let's keep it moving. All right. Next up is 5 Crazy Questions, sponsored by Scalable Computers via Gmac. Hope you're ready.
I've been waiting for this.
Number 1. Should pets be locked out of the room during sex?
I think you've had a pet that's been annoying during sex.
No, I have not, but I have a friend. I'll tell the story after your answer.
All right, so it goes 2 ways here. I've had them in the room, and it's like, oh, okay, this is annoying, and then I put them out of the room, and you just hear the.
Or they're even more annoying.
Then I'm like, I can't even focus.
Wait. What? Who's doing it? Ooh.
The dog is. Well, they're both. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah. But overall,
there's nothing worse than you do when you look over and the dog's like, "What's up, dude? I gotta go outside."
Yeah.
No. So the reason I asked you this question, and it wasn't for you directly. My best friend in high school, I will not say his name, was getting busy, and and his girlfriend had a cat.
Oh boy.
And the cat came up and absolutely swatted his beanbag
no.
with its claws.
Oh no!
And he went, ah! And he got up, and it was like the thing's claw was stuck into the back of his beanbag.
Oh no!
Yeah, it was not a good moment for him.
No.
And if I asked him, he'd be like, lock them fucking things out of the room.
Yeah, no, I'll agree with that. Animals outside the room.
All right, number 2. Would you rather your girlfriend be able to read your mind during sex or all the time except sex?
All the time except sex.
Really?
Yeah.
But like every fight when you're like, bitch, she'd know all that.
Yeah, but I'm starting to, I don't know, I'm getting to the age now where I'm just like, yeah, fuck it.
Fuck it.
I'm
let
her ride. Honest with you.
Let her ride.
Yeah, let it ride.
Yeah.
When you're in sex, that's your own personal area.
Yeah.
I think Rob said it. Sex is a private thing.
Yeah, I'm choking the shit out of you in my brain.
Yeah. Right.
You're giving the Vader in your brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would have to say never mind.
Right.
I think it would cause less fights too.
Maybe, but the other way, they would know everything.
Yeah. No, I agree.
All right, number 3. One has to go forever. One stays, one goes forever. Appetizers or desserts? Because like nachos are like an appetizer.
They are.
But then like chocolate lava cake is a nice dessert, or
I would have to go with the dessert. No, to keep the dessert
and get rid of the appetizer.
Yeah, you can just make a smaller meal and call it an appetizer. Well, I mean, it's going away, so.
Or make it a bigger meal and call it a meal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Like jalapeno poppers, you make that. What is that with the mozzarella sticks, the poppers, all that shit?
Yeah, like a platter.
Yeah, that's a fucking meal. So yeah, I would have to keep the desserts.
Okay, fair. That's fair. All right, number 4. Do you believe in aliens?
Yes.
Okay, and if so, where would you if aliens came down and talked to you and asked you where they need to go, where would you send them to go like check out human life? Kerhonkson.
Penn-Can.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
But yeah, definitely a Kerhonkson.
Yeah, I'd have to send them to like Kentucky.
Yeah.
Some shit like that because I'd be like, listen, you ain't gonna believe this shit.
No.
You go down here, you go across the creek, and you go see these people up in these woods over here. And I said, you are not gonna believe this.
Yeah. No,
what in the white trash hell are we looking at here?
Yeah, so I would have them to go like a Kerhonkson, definitely.
Yeah.
Hands down.
All right. And number 5. What is your go-to guilty pleasure song?
Ooh.
You listen to some girly shit.
I know I do. Oh. I mean, as of now, my guilty pleasure song has to be that Taylor Swift one, Anti-Hero. I know, it's terrible.
You're a Swiftie?
I'm not a Swiftie. I'm not. But
really?
That song, I'm like, damn, that really hits. But if
you're a big Miley Cyrus person too.
A huge Miley Cyrus person. I love the raspy voice.
So what's the guilty pleasure song? Taylor Swift?
Yeah, because I fucking hate her.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Her concert, and I know a lot of people are going to say, well, it's not her fault. Her concerts are way overpriced. All she does is go on fucking TV and still cry about the Jonas Brothers. Like, for that example, like, oh, he broke your heart. You were 15.
Yeah.
Live life a little bit.
Yeah.
You make some songs.
You broke some motherfuckers' hearts.
Yeah, it happens. Happens,
Yeah.
And so her as a person, I know it's not her, but like the whole like thing about her, I'm like, I don't feed into it.
Yeah.
I'm not a Swiftie. I don't like anything about her besides that.
Yeah, I always gave her the defense when like Kanye went and ripped that thing out of her hand.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know how he walked off that without getting clotheslined.
Oh, that was bullshit.
You know what I mean? But so you're going with the Taylor Swift song.
Yeah.
Oh, you're rocking out to some Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Did you see the new White Man Can't Jump Yet?
No, I have not.
But you heard what I've talked about it numerous times where he's like, "Yo, you like Ed Sheeran?" So instead of Jimi Hendrix, they're talking about Ed Sheeran, and it's a great moment.
Oh yeah,
because he's like, "Yo, Shape of You's bumping in the car. You roll up to a stoplight, and your boys are next to you. Do you turn it down, or you just keep letting it bump?"
Oh, I'd let that bump.
No, I'm saying, but he's saying it like to like in the hood. What do you do? What do you do?
No, it is true. I've been in moments like that.
Oh, dude, yeah, yeah, I get it. You got some like, okay, this isn't part of the question, but if you're pulling in somewhere, do you have to have the appropriate music going to like where you're going?
Absolutely.
You're like, if I'm pulling in and there's going to be people hear me, they cannot hear me listening to like, whatever. This is like this kind of thing. And I find it more like when I'm in Boston's Camaro. Like I got to have a cool song on when I pull in somewhere.
With that, yeah. Absolutely.
Because I don't want to have like some random song on the radio that's like, I don't know, the Jonas Brothers. I'm just saying, like something that's off the mark.
Yeah.
I need something that's like Metallica, AC/DC, something that even Snoop Dogg. So when you're pulling in, it's a cool car with cool music coming out of it.
No, I agree with that. And I also find myself like, if I'm going into work, I want to have like, I don't want that like, blah, 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 blah. Right. I'm not a fan of that.
Right.
But like, I really come down to like 90s alternative, like Bush.
Yeah.
Good, Dolls,
great songs.
Live, they're mellow, they're uplifting, but at the same time, it's like, keeps your head straight.
Yep.
That's what I find myself into nowadays.
Good. All right. Well, now we get to move on to Highland's favorite song.
We're going to hear this live.
We have done before. Over and Under, presented by Cougar this week.
Over under. All right. So, you want to go 5 to 1 or 1 to 5?
It doesn't. They're just five. They're just 5 of them, though.
Okay.
No, it's loud as fuck live, isn't it? Over and Under song. Yeah. The crazy questions and that are just they're recorded at like such a level they almost blow your ears out.
I like Over Under though.
It is. Over Under's good.
It's a catchy song. My own kids find that song fun.
Dude, and there's guys at work that are like, I'm hanging out, and I'm like, why the fuck am I singing Over and Under? And then they get bent at me. They're like, dude, I'm driving home singing this stupid fucking song.
All the time I do it. As we have done before. I love that part.
Yeah.
Before. All right, so number 1, I have Zoom Flume / water parks.
Overrated. You know why? Even when I was thin, the chafed fucking thighs. My thighs would look like Swedish fish. I can't stand running around in wet shorts like that.
No.
Like I'm a person that has to put like boxer briefs on under my bathing suit.
So is my son.
And I'd be all right like that, but like back in the day, like when you had tighty whities or you were little, that your legs would just chafe to no end.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? Like, and then you run around with like even when you're thin, you run around with like no shoes on and all that stuff.
There it is. I was like,
yeah,
because this is gonna be a little.
Aqua socks maybe.
Right, and I wear the Crocs there, but like little side story before I go to the next one. This is what made me think of it. Last weekend I'm there, and I'm seeing this kid. He had to be like 15, 16 years old around there, and he's in the bathroom, and he's like, I see blood on the floor. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like a fucking murder scene.
Right.
I look over, he's at the sink, and he's like peeling the skin tab off. I'm like, why are you doing that? And then I go back to my locker, and there's just a pool of blood. I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
Wear your shoes.
And now you're walking around bare feet.
Exactly. And I was like, and you see the Band-Aids floating around, blades of river. I was like, not a fan.
No.
Not a fan.
Overrated.
Definitely overrated. I'd rather go to a creek.
Yeah.
Number 2, Thermacell.
What's that?
They're like, they look like a radio, but you turn it on, it's got like a butane in it, and it puts off like this aroma that the mosquitoes stay away. It's up to 15 feet.
Oh, well, if it keeps mosquitoes off me, underrated. If it doesn't work, fucking highly overrated.
I put it to test these last couple of weeks at night.
Yeah.
It's been getting a little muggy at night. No mosquitoes. No
Really?
feet, no nothing.
Really?
It's a nice little bubble around you.
That's good.
I take the candle that everybody gets and I put that down by my feet and I put that up by me. That way it's like,
so it's keeping them away from your ankles and everything else.
They're fucking annoying.
Dude, no mosquitoes in England.
I heard that.
Or Ireland. None.
I heard that.
None.
I was like, I need to go.
Yeah, none. And I wore a sweatshirt most of the time. In July.
Look at me.
In July.
Look at me.
All right, number 3.
Number 3, Brian Cashman.
Currently, way fucking overrated. Since the Jason Giambi deal, overrated. That style of baseball has not won.
Thank you.
Home run or nothing bullshit that has not won. Prior to that, he's made a lot of good. I'll say this: he's underrated for keeping the Yankees relevant because they're always win. They always make the playoffs. They're winners. Mm-hmm. But he's overrated. The style of baseball that he wants to play is no longer any good. You gotta move on. The power hitting shit's over. Let's start hitting doubles and singles again. Mm-hmm. Getting runners on base and using our legs to steal and hitting runs.
Right. And I think with the way they've changed the game up so much these last couple of years, I'm like, you really need to focus on, speed, bunting, stuff like that.
I watched the thing. I'm not a big A-Rod fan, but I'll send it to you if I find it again. A-Rod is on Baseball Tonight or whatever he's on, and he's showing that if somebody's throwing, if they're throwing a fastball to me and it's here, he goes, I'm swinging one baseball higher than that. And that he goes, and I batted .330 with 40 home runs and 100 RBIs. He goes, but now, and I was swinging down to hit it.
Right.
He goes, now they're swinging up and they're batting .220 with 38 home runs, 90 RBIs, but they're striking out 80% of the time. Mm-hmm. He goes, what happened to them 100 points of batting average? He goes, I do not agree with what they're doing as far as...
No, it's terrible.
Right.
It's terrible. You see these guys, and I'm just like, whatever. You think they're good? Okay.
It became men's softball.
Yes.
And as long as the Yankees play men's softball, you're not going to win.
Yes.
Because in the playoffs, good pitching beats good hitting all the time.
All day.
Yep.
All right. Number 4, the 2023 New York Jets.
Overrated because
big time.
Well, I'm going to say overrated by the Jets fans in general. You're kind of a pessimist Jet fan. You'd be like my dad, Grandpa. You'd be like, he'd be like, these fucking Jets, they're going to suck. You watch. Mm-hmm. You remind me of like Frank the Tank, how he is with the Mets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told you. They're going to suck. They're going to suck, and then you're going to have a thing. You're going to be biting it. But yeah, the Jets. Here's the thing. Do I think if Aaron Rodgers is healthy, I think the Jets have a chance. Mm-hmm. I think they got a good enough. Here's the thing. They have a good enough defense to keep them relevant.
Right.
And last year they lost a lot of games because they couldn't score more than 10 points.
Mm-hmm.
What I do think is if Aaron Rodgers plays out his contract, the 2 years, I think the Jets have their quarterback in Zach Wilson.
Oh, I agree.
He got thrown to the wolves when they weren't good.
Mm-hmm.
And now if he gets to learn for 2 years under a legend, as much as I hate to say Aaron Rodgers is a legend because he's a fucking cowboy killer, the cocksucker. Yeah. But yes, he will be. I think the Jets have their thing. I do think the Jets will be above 500, but I don't think maybe 9-8, 10-7.
I agree with that.
But it'll all be dependent upon health.
Right. And like I said too, they have a tough schedule early on. If they can get like a 10-7, 9-8, and possibly sneak into the playoffs,
they got to go. They got to split. They got to be like 4-4 to start.
Right. No, I agree.
And they got tough sledding.
Big time.
But the other end of that is you think you have tough sledding until if a team gets injured. Right. Now that team, I've seen teams that should have been, they're going back to the Super Bowl, don't even make the playoffs.
My number 1 pick this year for fantasy football, Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Great.
He's hurt.
Great.
Yeah. He'll be back, but he's hurt with a calf injury. He should be back by opening day.
But all it takes is that one injury.
I know. Done. Yeah, and that team that shows you what an MVP is.
Mm-hmm.
Because if Burrow's not there, they're not winning.
No. Nope. So. And then number 5, Darth Vader.
Darth Vader, how? Just in general? Like, I think I don't know if you listened to this episode where it was like Darth Vader of Voldemort.
I didn't hear that.
So the reality is Darth Vader killed some kids, bro. That's it. Obi-Wan beat him twice. He couldn't beat the Emperor.
But does he?
No, because the Emperor lived.
Yeah, he comes back.
which was stupid anyway. But I mean, all he did was throw him down a well. You know what I mean? Like is he the ultimate villain? He's underrated as the ultimate villain because he was the villain that everybody liked for some reason. Like you weren't supposed to like him,
Right.
and people wanted to be Darth Vader.
So
that was like probably the first time it hit me. People didn't want to be Apollo Creed; they wanted to be Rocky.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You never wanted to be the villain until like Darth Vader.
Right.
You know, but people wanted to be Darth Vader.
Yeah.
So he's underrated in that capacity, but I think overrated as far as the Jedi goes.
I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. The reason why I'm asking that is because Reed and I have had a lot of conversations between, Kylo Ren, between Darth Maul, between, all the guys.
Kylo Ren was kind of like, so he was like the next Darth Vader, quote unquote, right? But he was kind of like a whiny bitch like Luke Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
Like a crybaby.
But here's the question. Isn't Anakin a fucking whiny bitch? His own demise is his own whininess.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, well, they are.
It's like, you're great, but I don't believe in it.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Well, how about this one? I said this to somebody the other day. Maybe if Mace Windu and Yoda weren't such dicks, just let him in a Jedi, you'd have been all right.
Well, I got to go on this real quick. I watched them recently because I was watching the Obi-Wan and all that, and I was like, you know what? Let me rewatch these. And I told Reed, I'm like, your boy Mace Windu is the fucking reason for all of this shit to go down. You have him fucking spying a chancellor, which is treason. You then tell him, oh, you're not fucking cool enough to be part of this, but if you do this, you can be. And then when it's time to be there, oh, no, I'll handle it. And then you go and you fucking have Palpatine become Lord Sidious, and it's like, what the fuck?
Right, you handed him.
Right, Mace Windu is what created fucking this whole problem.
Right.
Just let the kid fucking do what he wants to do.
Yep.
But yeah.
Yeah, so like I said, underrated as far as like a character, overrated in the Jedi world. Like, yeah, he was a badass, and you see glimpses of it, but Obi-Wan fucked him up twice.
Right.
And his son kind of took it to him until he lost his hand.
Right.
And then when he came back, he really didn't want no part of it because he was stronger emotionally than he was.
Right.
No, I'm not going to fight you. Go ahead, beat on me.
Mm-hmm.
But Luke matched him like when they tried. So yeah, I would say overrated as far as like a Jedi.
I agree.
Cool. What you got? You got some? We don't have a soundbite for the last thing.
For the rabbit hole?
Yeah, I think I got rid of it. Oh, no, I do. It's just. I think it's just music. But anyway, what have you been watching? What kind of rabbit hole stuff have you got going on?
So this kind of like, I've been in like a grandpa kick lately because I went to Shania Twain on July 3rd. Which, that was that's the way.
Yep.
So I was like, saw Shania Twain was fucking playing. I said, you know what? He loved Shania Twain.
Yep.
So then coming back from that, I went on HBO. Well, it's Max now. It's not just. I was like, damn, dude, they have like variety of shit.
Yep.
So I've been watching like Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives.
Yep.
And I fucking love that show.
Yep.
The other night I'm sitting there, I felt like I'm sitting there and watching. I was like, I'm going to fucking cook something
I'm
now.
gonna cook a steak at 2 a.m.
I ended up making myself some cheeseburgers and hot dogs. I was like, fuck it. I've been watching that. American Chopper, I've been addicted to.
That's me and him fighting during the race car days.
So when I was a kid growing up watching that, you'd be like, yeah, that's just me and my father. I was like, no, it was.
It was.
He fucking comes out of the office for no fucking reason.
And just stirs up the kid.
Yeah. And it's like, well, you just don't see eye to eye to me. Well, no shit. And then the 20 minutes you just had a fucking argument, he could have been doing some type of fabrication.
Yep.
So that's the entire thing. I'm addicted to that show. Been watching the Hard Knocks. Not even just the Jets. I was watching the Lions one. I fucking love Campbell as a coach.
Oh, everybody does.
I'd run through a fucking wall for that.
Him and Vrabel in Tennessee.
Yeah.
They're probably the two best coaches out there right now.
They're fucking nuts.
Yep.
They're fucking nuts.
And you probably don't want to fight either one of them.
No.
And when you play those two teams, they're tough. They're going to play tough, like physical.
Oh, without a doubt. The other thing I've been watching is life hacks, like cleaning stuff.
Yeah.
Like
always the carpets are always.
I'm hooked on that shit. Ever since you were like, oh, I watched this guy do the carpet. I'm like, fuck, dude.
Carpets, lawns.
Half hour, 45 minutes later, I'm like, shit, look at that fucking carpet.
Yeah. Lately, mine's been a lot of painting because we're getting ready to paint the Camaro soon. We're picking out colors, So like a lot of paint, like anything, like people get mesmerized watching 2 hours of people mow lawns.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? It's just a problem. You know what it is? It's probably because people's brains are so cluttered now, and that's like something that's like it's a completed task. It cleans it up.
Yes.
So you're watching like, I think your brain's going, oh, that's cleaned up, and it's like cleaning up your brain.
Yep.
Oh yeah, there it is. It's all together. Pool cleaners. I watch a lot of people clean pools. Oh, we came in today and it's all full of algae, and then like drop 3 of these in there. Do this, scrub the sidewalls. And, like, holy shit.
That car detail guy you watch.
Yeah.
Some of those I'm like, I could not bring my car there.
Yeah.
For this to be filmed.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, how could you?
Well, way worse than what any of our cars ever looked like.
Ever.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I've been watching, body cam footage, and not like I'm gonna go, watch this shooting. It's more of like
what led up to
psycho girlfriends.
Yeah.
My God, women are fucking out there.
Well, that's why they're from Mars, or men are from Mars and they're from Venus.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm watching some of these and I'm like, how the fuck? How did you get in this situation?
Yeah.
They're fucking out there. But those are like the ones I'm watching. It's more like not even just girlfriends.
Are you a TikToker?
No, I don't have TikTok.
Really? It is awesome.
I'm still standing with that one.
I think it's awesome.
It is.
Well, what's funny is so while we're on this talk, I'm going through TikTok the other day and I see Chase go, whoa.
My son?
Yes. Yeah.
He's on TikTok?
He made about 70 of them with grandma, or whatever he calls your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, so I like text her and I'm like, hey, do you happen to know like he made about 70 TikToks? She goes, no. So it's like when Snow White goes la 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 la, and he's doing it and his face is going, and I'm like, and then like I'm like next, like like it can go friends, people you follow, and then just general like your algorithm.
Yeah.
So I'm like next, Chase, next, Chase, next, Chase. Next, Chase and Layla. Chase. I'm like, holy shit. But then another thing I watch is a lot of old war veterans talk about moments, like when, the Marines putting up that flag.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about that. They're like, that was on drain pipe.
Mm-hmm.
That was a drain pipe. And they're like, well, how close were you to the flag? And the guy's interviewing him. He goes, like that close. And there was a flag like right here. He goes, this close right here.
That's crazy.
And and then like, the guy in front of me fell. He goes, I made all the sand tables for World War II when we jumped, with the Easy Company, or the 101st. I don't know if it was Easy Company. It might have been Easy Company, but not that platoon. And he said, he goes, the guy in front of me fell, and he's got like 200 pounds of stuff on him. So as I pick him up, and by the time we get out, I'm the last one. He was the captain. He goes, when we landed, he goes, I never landed on the ground. He goes, I landed in a bunch of cows. He landed in a barn. He went through the barn roof, and on top of like cows that are all getting ready to be transported to like Germany for like beef or whatever.
Yep.
But he goes, I come out of the sand. He goes, I made all the sand tables for where we were landing. Like, hey, you're going to land here. This is the idea. He said, everybody that got out of that thing, if that guy didn't fall, everybody that jumped on time, landed in Caratan because however the plane got mixed up. Mm-hmm. He said every single one of them were captured or killed.
Oh,
so that guy falling and delaying them, they jumped later.
Yeah.
He didn't know. He goes, when I came out, I didn't know where. He goes, I do all this research. I got all these maps. I got all this sand table action. He goes, I came out, I didn't know where the hell I was. He goes, but it saved my life because every single person was captured or killed.
That's fucking crazy.
Because they ended up jumping like right into the hornet's nest.
Yeah.
Not realizing, they thought they were going to miss it and like stage outside of it.
Yeah.
And then wherever they were, they landed right in Caratan. So, it was pretty wild. So, you see them old cool stories like that. But then the song we came into today, that I saw on TikTok as well.
Really?
Yeah. Is it me or did that sound like it dropped out?
It dropped out right there.
Yeah. So, and then needless to say, you get to see these things that I would never have found that song otherwise.
Right. Well, that's the thing is like, I don't, So I don't have TikTok, but like on Instagram and all that, when you go through the reels, it's a lot of TikTok anyway.
Yeah,
so
like people transferred over there.
Right. So I see the things. It's just like, I don't know.
I just like it because it's not as diluted, or it's not as what would you say? Like, it's not as censored.
No, right.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
Have you seen any of Bobby RFK Jr.?
I love that man.
I think he's
the man.
Listen.
What I like.
They're gonna imprison Trump.
Yeah.
They're gonna go after him hard. They're gonna they're trying so hard. This is just my thought on that. They're trying so hard to make it so he can't run that they're gonna miss the person who's the real threat.
Mm-hmm.
And RFK is gonna win the country's approval.
Right. And so I've been talking a lot about RFK Jr. and I'm like, if you really sit down and listen to the man, he is an independent. He looks at both. I mean, yes, he's a registered
right, but he's very disappointed with them right now.
Right.
Like you got to see the thing where they have it rules set.
What he can say and
no, where they went after him in censorship, and then they censored him at the censorship meeting.
Yeah.
And then when he did this thing, if you campaign in New Hampshire, he goes, which I already did.
Mm-hmm.
That it doesn't count, and now they're making it so that it doesn't count in Georgia either if you get any votes
so
for the primary.
Right, can't go towards.
And he's like, "How does that? Like, who does that? This is fixing an election. This is election fixing. How is it not election fixing?" So, needless to say, you do your research on that guy. And one thing I liked about him that he said, he goes, "Listen, I'm not above reproach here. Like, I don't say that." These things. He said, my book that's out has had 15 editions of it because, research has come back that's altered a thought that I had prior. Mm-hmm. He goes, I'm not against saying like, hey, I was wrong, but show me I was wrong.
That's what I like.
Prove to me that I was wrong. If I was wrong, hey, listen, I was wrong.
Yeah. It's not like being a cocky, arrogant person. Like, oh, yeah, prove me I'm wrong. No,
he's fucking jacked too.
Dude.
Yeah.
But, no, that's my guy.
The voice would be hard to deal with every day.
Yeah,
but it's
I mean, we deal with fucking Biden.
No. I know, but his voice wasn't always like that. It's a spasm thing. I think it was caused by either a disease or like a cancer or something.
Okay.
That it makes his voice spasm, and it's getting better because there's other times I hear it's like really good.
Yeah.
And then there's times it always sounds like he's a little nervous.
That's what it is.
It almost sounds like he's nervous, but he's not.
No.
It's just the spasm and thing in his voice. So. But yeah, I like his message a lot.
That's my man.
Yeah,
that's my man, and it's gonna be eventful these next couple months.
I said it in that show.
Yeah.
You watch. It's gonna when you think you got your finger on the pulse, you're gonna realize you had no idea what was coming.
No.
That's why I said don't be surprised when they slip somebody in there.
Mm-hmm.
And when they like you, you're in. But when you're out, are you out? They don't just cut you off; they cut you out.
I was gonna say, look at his uncle.
Yeah.
Look at his father.
Right, but I'm saying when they're done, they're done.
Right.
And they're going to do them dirty. And I don't mean RFK. I mean even Biden. When they're done with Biden,
I know
it's going to get closer to like election time, and they're going to be like, "Here you go, Joe."
Right, and then like right now you're seeing what they're doing with Trump. That's so he doesn't run. We know that. We just want him to run.
Okay. What do you think?
I think they're doing the same thing to Biden. So it's like you can't run again,
right?
Because you got all this shit going on.
Right. All of a sudden they're going to turn. When you see the mainstream media turn and say, "Hey, he's unfit. He's not mentally capable." That's when they're making their move.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think what do you think the percentage is if they said to Trump, "Hey, if you don't run, this will all go away"?
That it would actually fall through with that?
I think if he just said I'm not going to run anymore, they'd go okay.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Because I think they fear more that he would win.
Yeah, and that's what it is right now. Is like you're literally like I'm not trying to steal his words, but like the witch hunt. Like no, legit, you are fucking pulling up stuff that.
And then you start to see
has
the
nothing
real
to do with what happened.
Like everybody thinks a politician is a slimy douchebag. Everybody, like you're like you're a politician. Just they speak out of both sides of their face. And then you had somebody, whatever, you like him or dislike him. But the idea is people that were supporting him then now turn around because now they're running for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, come on, man. And everybody's starting to see through these things, and it's getting to a level of like, come on, enough is enough.
Well, that's the thing is with just like the Democratic National Convention 4 years ago.
Yeah.
When you had Booker on there, you had Harris on there,
Yeah.
you had, and Biden's going out there, if you don't vote for me,
Yeah, you're
if
not.
you don't
Yeah.
vote Democrat, you're not black, like shit
Right.
like that. I'm like, first of all, shut the
Like,
fuck up.
how did people not?
How do you not?
Yeah.
Right. But like, I sit there and I watch him bash Hillary, I watch him bash Bernie, I watch him bash
Well, what about when
all these guys, and then, we're going to support you?
Yeah.
No.
Right.
What happened to? Fuck off.
What about when
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, but they're all like that.
Right, and that's my biggest thing with politics is that.
But here's the thing. I think the general people are tired of two things. I think the working class is tired of the moochers.
Yes.
Go out and earn your money.
Right.
There's plenty of work to be done. Go out and earn yourself some money.
Nowadays, yeah.
I think the working class is tired of being told we're going to take, give to people that don't work, give to people that are here legally. You know what I mean? Like You're getting these things where the working class is getting fed up.
Yeah, backbone.
And I think both parties, if they don't watch what they're doing, they're gonna spawn a new party that's gonna take major amounts of people from both parties, and one of them is gonna cease to exist.
Right. And a lot of talk is, a lot of people will say, and I'm sure you've heard it before, the way this country's going, it's going to be another civil war. It's going to be an American Revolution. It's going to be just like that all over again. Like, nope, we've had enough of this shit.
Yeah.
Let's go and revolutionize the whole game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, that's what scares me the most.
Yeah, well, especially because we have kids that are young enough that if it drags on, are going to be all part of it.
Right.
So, yeah, I know. I just hope we got a long time to go. I don't really want to talk about it anymore. Like,
I got you.
I've heard enough of that. But yeah, people just wake up. Don't just watch one thing. Like, if you hear a news story, go get 5 different angles of it, but it can't be all 5 from the same side.
Right.
Because too many people get stuck in these mentality. Like, oh yeah, well that's. If you only ever watched Fox or you only ever watched MSNBC or CNN, you'd only ever have this opinion.
Right, yeah, Rachel Meadows,
But
Don Lemon.
go on YouTube and watch when they show like every 20 or 30 mainstream media all say the same exact thing, the same words, the same everything.
Yeah,
it's all these I would say like keywords, but they got another word they're like lightning words. These ones that jump out off the page. They got to use these hot button words,
right,
and they all say the same exact thing. So what's that telling you? They're pushing an agenda, you know what I mean, instead of just reporting the news.
Oh, yeah.
And then you wonder why nobody trusts news people,
No.
So it's crazy. But yeah, that's all I watch lately. You know what I mean? We go back to our rabbit hole. Let's get out of the rabbit hole we just fell down. But yeah, RFK Jr.'s a lot on there, but a lot of clean stuff, cleaning cars, painting cars, that kind of shit, mowing lawns.
It's very soothing. Sit there and watch them.
Have you watched the pressure washer guy that does concrete?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was gonna say when they edge up where the the grass meets the concrete.
Yeah.
And they do the weed whacker sideways, or sometimes they'll take a pressure washer. Get in there.
They get a nice edge there.
I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
It makes me want to own a fucking yard because I'm like, that looks so good. Looks so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically what I do with my time. Like what you were saying, like with the body cam footage, dude. I watch that because I'm like, I'm just gonna watch this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make my own judgment, my own opinion on it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna rewind a little bit here and there, but I think a lot of people need to do that.
Yeah, and everybody falls down a rabbit hole. Like, you don't know what.
Oh, I know.
Dude, I watched and if you listen to the show, you've heard me talk about this before, but I watched a horse chiropractor.
Dude.
And all of a sudden, an hour's gone by, and I'm just watching them cracking horses' necks and hooves and everything else.
Yep.
Shoulders, he's like, oh, this got a shoulder. And the horse is like, what's up, buddy? Yeah.
I watched this guy do it with dogs. And the dog's like a bulldog, and he pops it and you start licking his face like, oh my god, thank you.
Like, thank God.
Yeah.
My shoulder was jammed up. Yeah.
But I'm like, I would have thought he was going to break the dog in half the way he did it.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool to see that.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Anything else you got?
Got one question
for
you on this. Talking at work the other day, and we started talking about ginger ale. I know it's very simple.
Yep.
What is your favorite ginger ale?
Probably the Seagrams.
Thank you. That's what I said.
Yeah, and Canada Dry would probably be second.
Right, because it's very gingery, right?
Yeah.
And then you have Schweppes.
Yeah, Schweppes is a little further down the thing.
And then Polar. There's so many ginger ales.
Yeah, there is. I'm going to tell you this.
Shit.
If you ever go to England, do not drink root beer.
Okay.
I love the root beer here. Like, I like root beer.
Right.
You go over there, it is the gnarliest shit you could ever. I took a sip of it. I went, what is that? And I gave it to Summer. She's like, what, Dad? It's root beer. I go, no, here, have it. Because over there, they don't use artificial sweeteners.
Oh, God.
So how do you sweeten root beer? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It was the grossest thing I've ever drank. And their gum was terrible. I got like something that would be like equivalent to like our strawberry Bubblicious.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, this is gonna be like their Bubblicious. And Boston thinks I'm like joking. I put it in my mouth, I'm chewing, I'm like, oh, ugh. I throw it out, and he's like, Dad, come on. I'm like, here, try a piece. He chews it, and he's like, oh my God, you weren't kidding. And he spits it right in the garbage can. I'm like, yeah, see, I told you. I told you.
I told you.
Yeah.
I told you.
Yep. So, yeah, definitely Seagrams.
Seagrams all the way.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I was like, yep, going with Seagrams.
Yeah. Good question. All right. Well, you know how you gotta bring us home.
Well, I thought about that too. I was like, I gotta fuck this up because he always fucks it up.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he fucks it up a lot. Yep.
Yeah. We're not always right.
Yeah.
All right. So for Gmac, this is Cougar, and as always, take a deep.
Yep.